remember this exact spot from a few trips ago. I was coming down the road, down right here, there was a bunch of sheep everywhere, and my plan was to head up this trail this direction, which in hopes would weave me up towards the Strawberry Reservoir area. I had to kind of bypass. I was actually planning on coming down this road, and I was unable to find a connector to it. So I know that this road goes somewhere, and I'd planned to come back at some point in time and do some exploring. So I'm gonna head up this trail. I don't know if I'm gonna go a couple hundred yards, or if according to the map, I may be able to go quite a few miles and find some other type of connection road, as I'm trying to find kind of a cool new route from the Soldier Summit area up to Strawberry Reservoir. So let's go check it out. This adventure was extremely short-lived, like maybe 100 yards up the trail, run into a fence and some private property. So that's why it's telling you that there's no exit. There's actually not a bad camp spot just right there, but just down the hill a little ways there's another person camping. And typically when I get out and disperse camping like this, I like to have a lot of separation from other people and give other people separation from us. So we'll head up this trail and do some more exploring there. View out here, I've driven by this many times, and it's just so beautiful looking off this kind of ridge trail out over the mountains. You got all these burnt trees from a fire a few years ago, and it's just such a unique look. What is up, you guys? This is Jared with Backroad Exploration, and I'm back in the Utah mountains with my boys doing some exploring. A few trips ago, I had the boys up here. We were going to try to find this new route from Strawberry Reservoir down towards the Soldier Summit area. It ended up not working out, and on my way down, I saw this spur trail that I was hoping would lead back up to my original route. And so I wanted to come back and check it out, as well as a bunch of the spur trails along Reservation Ridge Road that I always just pass when I'm cruising through here. So we came back up. Unfortunately, that spur trail totally ended up being a dead end. We went like 100 yards and weren't able to go anywhere. But now I'm just looking forward to spending the next day exploring a bunch of these spur trails and a few different routes that I've been looking at on the maps that might lead us back up towards Strawberry Reservoir. So we found a beautiful campsite for the night. It's time to get some dinner going. Working on some pork right now that's gonna go inside our quesadillas for the night. All right, now that is not a bad breakfast. 2 pieces of French toast, some sausage, some syrup. Moved over here into the shade because of course we've got no shade over here by the Jeep and it is hot. Come here, girl. Oh, how you feeling, huh? You did good at chasing off the bees when I was cooking. Normally I don't let you sit that close to me while I cook because you try to snag food every once in a while, but you did so good chasing the bees off. Good job. Good girl. You're probably thirsty. Let's get you something to drink. Been making some upgrades to the interior of the Jeep, and I plan on doing a full video on a bunch of the stuff that I've been working on, but I want to show you these bags that I got from Red Rock 4x4. They're hang down bags that attach to the roll bar, and kind of take up that weird little space in between the roll bar and the back of the rear seat. Now, they are best designed to work with the back seats folded forward, although they do work with the seats up. You just can't put quite as much stuff in them, but they have a bunch of different pockets, panels, molly panels, things like that that you can really use to accessorize and add stuff to it. My plan is to add a lot of the quick access stuff that we want, like flashlights, pocket knife, you know, toiletries, things like that to them that we're getting out of the Jeep regularly, and kind of want quick access to. So let me show them to you just for a minute. So you can see there's a lot of different pocket options, and a lot of people will take them out. They unclip so quickly. You can take them out when you're not using them. I think I'll leave them in because I want to kind of put in essential gear that I bring with me all the time. But you can also take them out and use the straps to connect them to like a tree or something in case you're using it to like hold your toiletries, things like that. So haven't fully decided how I'm going to fully kit it out, but excited to look at all of the possibilities and maybe take some stuff that like I'm shoving in the glove boxes or in the rear of these seats. Like a lot of our flashlights and stuff go in those. I'd rather have them back in here where we can just grab them. We're usually grabbing them out of the back of the Jeep once we get to camp anyway. So gonna start migrating some stuff over. So admittedly, one of the hardest parts of every single adventure for me is right after I've eaten breakfast. I'm feeling just nice and full and relaxed, sitting in some shade. And I'm like, man, I really don't want to pack up, but I've already got all of our sleeping gear packed up. I just need to clean up the kitchen, and then we can start heading out, checking out some spur trails. One of the best things about being in the mountains is all of the shade. Even though it's going to be pretty warm today, probably get up in the mid 80s, when you have all this shade, it just really helps. And it's surprisingly green for being, you know, almost mid-August. I'm really impressed with how beautiful and green it is still up here, considering, you know, we've had a really dry year. We've had some good rains in the last couple of weeks, and it's clearly helping. So, oh man, just beautiful up here. So part of Reservation Ridge Road right here goes through, you know, the road goes through some private property, and man, they own this huge valley in the mountain ranges. I don't know who owns it, but it would be an incredible piece of property to own. It's beautiful. And clearly they've been out marking a ton. The last time I was up here, none of these signs and markings were up, and pretty much all along the side of the trail, they're putting up markings saying that it's private property. So, you know, we want to respect that. You can see that, like right here, they're marking with this orange that it's private property. And you want to respect that. Don't go camp. So I've seen a couple of little small spur trails where people put fire rings that, you know, these guys clearly don't want you to be using, which is their right as the owner. So you want to be careful of stuff like that. But because you don't want to, you know, cause issues with access where a public trail goes through private land or anything like that. So clearly they're trying to manage it a little bit, but ooh, it'd be cool to own that piece. Oh, a bunch more sheep chilling in the shade over here. Just get out of the road and we'll be okay, guys. This road's getting super narrow. Well, there's the water. And there is some. I don't know, it looks pretty nasty. Well, we've made it to what on the map indicates is Hollow Spring, and the water looks super nasty. There's a bunch of sheep in the area grazing, so I'm sure they're kind of mucking it up a little bit too, but it's kind of a fun little trail to come down to. This definitely a spur worth checking out. The flies are really bad because you can tell the sheep just stay here, probably use these hills and stuff to graze, and then come down here for their water supply each day. So kind of got a lot of animal poop around here. No question why the sheep love this spot. They've got the water right there. They've got a hillside full of grass. And this hill right here, they've all been laying down because it's really shaded and it feels really nice. So I've kind of pushed them up the hill a little bit because I walked up here to get in the shade. Boys are eating some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for lunch. I'm trying to cut a few lbs, so I'm gonna just go light on lunch. I had a big breakfast, so I'm just gonna have some vegetables for lunch, and then we'll head back up this spur trail and see what else we can find. See, we're getting up here. Bet we're close to 9,500 feet. $93.66 is what it's telling me right now, so not quite 9,400 feet. This spur trail is a winner. It's really cool. It's nice and narrow, several cool places to pull off and camp. Really pretty. This little aspen grove's really cool. One of the reasons that I like checking out these spur trails is they're just hardly ever used, and you know, eventually if they go completely unused, they often close them. So you can see this one quite grown over. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm the first vehicle down it this year. I don't see it looks like any tracks have come through. It's not a super long one. Looks like it probably just juts out over onto this little hill over here that looks out over these big beautiful mountains in front of us. But it's good to go down these little spur trails to keep them active. Otherwise, like I said, the BLM and National Forest Office will just close them up. We made it down to the bottom of this little spur trail, and it's actually really neat. It's a little off camber, so I don't know. I think you could probably back in right here, and maybe with some traction boards or some rocks, level yourself out and have a really remote spot for a single vehicle. You really couldn't do much more than that because it's just not flat enough, but it's little spurs like this that I just love to come and explore. You can see some people had carved into this aspen right here in 1990, 89. So it's been, I'm sure people have been down here since then, but this is a little spur trail that's getting grown over. I guarantee it hardly gets any traffic each year. It's definitely one that would make a nice campsite. Looks like we're gonna get a little bit of rain over there. Those clouds are definitely raining, and we're headed in that direction, so that'll be interesting. Good that we're getting rain. We need it. Last year, I swear we went from like May until September without rain, and July was quite rainy. That's why it's so green right now up here, and hopefully it stays that way. We get a good rainy August and hopefully a good winter, and we can help some of this drought we're having, because it has been a really bad drought. We're like in the worst drought we've been in 20 plus years. Right now we have turned on Timber Canyon Road. Now, the last time I was up here, I went on this and the road was actually closed, and they had signs up at the top saying that it was closed. So they're not signs this time. So If not, that's going to be awesome, because this is another route that would get me back up to where Strawberry Reservoir is. I just didn't think this was going to be an option, because the last time I was here, it was so closed. There was a huge washout, and I just didn't think anyone was going to go through the expense of cleaning it out. But looks like it might be open. If so, that would be great. So I'm going to give it a try, and we'll see. Well, this is cool. Timber Canyon Creek, Colorado River Cutthroat, trout restoration. You can see you've got a table here, a couple fire pits. Not a bad little campsite. A little bit of trees for some shade too. I really like it. Just look at these rocks. These cliffs are amazing. Timberline Road is really checking out. This is ended up being really cool. You can still see there's a lot of issues from the flooding and stuff that happened over there. You can see where a lot of the debris is, but the road is looking very promising. This is wild. I don't know how long this has been open. I wasn't planning on coming down this road because the last time I was here, it was closed because of the huge washout that took place right here. The entire road was just completely gone. But there were several sections up above where there was washout as well that had been cleared, and the sign at the top saying that it was closed was no longer there. So I thought, you know what, it might be open. I'm gonna go try it. You can see they still have the backhoes and the cats behind me, so I don't know how long this has been open, but I don't think it's been very long. Maybe they're still doing some dirt work out here during the day, or during the week, excuse me, to kind of clear up and make it so that the river here that goes through actually goes in the places it's supposed to. But the road is back in place, which is really cool. Let me show you where all this dirt came from. Look at this. They've been making huge piles of dirt, moving everything around. This was all washed out, just like a big mud bog the last time I was here. Man, this flooding is just nuts. I think every time it rains, because of those fires, they just get major flooding that comes through here. Look at all of that concrete and rock they're trying to put up. Not rock, concrete, but all that slabbed rock they're putting there to try to hold it up. Man, that's wild. I'm not sure how well you're gonna be able to see this or not, but this blue trail was the marked trail that I wanted to do when we were doing our Strawberry Peak trip. We wanted to come to here, come up and around, loop down, and come down here and head back towards the Highway 6 area. Anyways, right there we ran into a sign and private property and had to basically totally go a different route, which is what that red route is. Then on this trip, I've been doing mostly this green route, and I wasn't intending on coming down this road until I saw that the sign saying it was closed was gone, and I wanted to come and check it out. And lo and behold, you can definitely make it all the way through. Look at this beautiful canyon that it kicks you out into. And I believe that this road is gonna basically send us up towards Duchesne, Utah. So we're gonna head towards there, but what a rewarding trip and a surprise. It was not something I was expecting to have happen, be able to make it to here. Man, this was such an incredible adventure. I was in an area that I've spent a ton of time in, but going down trails and spur trails that I've never seen. I need to do more adventures like this where I'm going down and hitting those trails that I'm passing up on my other trips. This was a ton of fun. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. If you hit that notification bell, you'll get all of my videos right when they're uploaded. If you want to follow me on the day-to-day, you can do so on Instagram at Backroad Exploration. Thanks so much for watching.